No other sport starts with the biggest event of the year, but stock car racing is not like any other sport. Today, the ARCA Series starts the 2004 season on the high banks of the most hallowed place in motorsports, Daytona. For those wanting to climb the ladder, this is where they make their mark. Just ask last year's winner, Chase Montgomery, who now has a full-time Craftsman Truck Series ride. Famous names like Ryan Newman, Kyle Petty, Benny Parsons, Mike Wallace, and Joe Ruttman, all past winners here. For others, a win here could be the crowning achievement in their racing careers, a lasting testament to achieving the ultimate goal, a trip to victory lane here at Daytona. 41 drivers are strapped in, ready to make their dream come true in the Super Bowl for this series. It's the ARCA RE Series season opener from Daytona, next on Speed. The boys and girls of ARCA are set to rock your socks off today with the Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200 at the World Center of Speed. So let's not waste any more time and get trackside with Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Bob. You know, we've got a really great field of cars here for today's race. Whenever you look at the front row, though, you got to talk about Kyle Busch. 1 year ago in this series, Kyle Busch won 2 races. But here's the objective at Hendrick Motorsports: win the pole, lead every lap, and win the race. Well, Kyle Busch is going to have to settle for just 2 of those 3 things today, because he will start second today at Daytona. But that's a pretty good number at this racetrack. Actually, it's the best. Second place has won at this track 9 different times. But he did not win the pole because that went to the number 5 of Bobby Gerhart. Gerhart in the Lucas Oil Chevrolet has been great at this racetrack. Matter of fact, he may put more effort into this one race than any other team. With 2 victories at Daytona and 1 at Talladega, Bobby Gerhart is ARCA's Mr. Restrictor Plate. But guess what? In the last 25 races here at Daytona, the pole winner has only won 2 times.
With 5 series championships on his ARCA RE resume and well over 7,000 laps led, Frank Kimmel is without question king of the hill here in Arcaville. He's won everywhere except the crown jewel, Daytona. Frank Kimmel, what's it going to take to change all that?
Hopefully this Advanced Auto Parts Ford Taurus has got enough to do it today. You know, I tell you what, Don, this is all about racetrack and race car here, and you know, we just haven't brought the best race cars here lately, but this weekend we've had a very, very good race car all weekend. Get in line with these young kids. Bobby's going to lead the way, and we're just going to see what we come up with at the end.
Billy Venturini started last year's race here at Daytona on the outside pole. This year he starts 35th because his qualifying time was disallowed. Billy, starting so deep in the pack, how much patience does it take you to get up front?
Well, I guess it's going to dictate on what kind of people I have pushing me or who I'm following. But I think this race car is going to get to the front in pretty good hurry. It's been pretty fast all week, and you know, it's the 6th fastest car in qualifying, and hopefully it won't take a whole bunch of time. But the crowd's going to be a heck of a show, hopefully.
Venturini's mission: get up front, do it fast. Now back to you guys upstairs.
Well, thanks, Lindsay. I'm Bob Dillner. Alongside of me, Winston Cup veteran, now Nextel Cup star. That's right, Nextel Cup star, Kenny Schrader. And Kenny, we got a lot of stories to follow today, so how about we cut right to the chase?
Well, let's get going. There are a lot of them.
There are. The young and the restless, we're calling in here. A lot of young kids. And check out this, 18 years old, Kyle Busch on the outside pole. But what I think is impressive is all the kids 25 and younger in the top 15.
Well, most definitely, you know, those owners look for those young kids because they know they are the future. Still got a lot of good veterans in here, and we got a couple females in here that are going to run good today.
That's right, we do. Some of the older dudes in the field: Frank Kimmel, the 5-time champ, and pole sitter Bobby Gerhart. Of course, you know Greg Sachs used to run with him for a long, long time in the Winston Cup Series.
Former Winston Cup winner.
That's right, exactly. Darrell Basham will round out the field here today, but a lot of these guys know how to get the job done.
Well, they really do, and a lot of them have been here for a number of years. You know, that Frank Kimmel story is just like, kind of like Dale Earnhardt Sr. here. He's only going to win all those races and go so long without winning a race here. But looking at those ages, I don't think those guys were that old.
Exactly, and take a look at these 2 hot ladies, Kim Crosby in today's field and Christy Passmore, and she has really turned a lot of heads here in ARCA competition. We're getting set for the green flag next here at Daytona on Speed.
And now, let's welcome back Mike Colby Drivers, start your engines.
You can feel the vibration already up here in the booth as the ARCA RE/MAX Series gets set to do battle in the Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200 here at Daytona. Speed Channel's coverage of the ARCA RE/MAX Series is brought to you by RE/MAX. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. And by Gladiator Garage Works by Whirlpool Corporation. Gladiator Garage Works, it's time to rethink the garage. Live here at Daytona, and we're going to go right to the RE/MAX starting grid. A contrast of ages, as we told you. Bobby Gerhart and Kyle Busch on the front row. But I think the guy you got to look at is Paul Menard there. He won the October Talladega ARCA race, and he's looking pretty good. Clint Boyer there, the RCR prodigy. He will be running some Busch races this year in the 21 car. Ryan Hemphill and AJ Hendrickson, a really hot shot type of kid out of the late model ranks of the Southeast. Brent Sherman, a championship contender, and Mike Langston right there. But the girl I want to talk about, Christy Passmore. Last year she turned a lot of heads in the ARCA RE/MAX Series.
She ran 5th in the fall race at Talladega last year, solid top 10 in points last year at all the tracks. So she is definitely one to be reckoned with.
And of course, she's in the Bob Schacht car, and that's always a good car in the ARCA RE/MAX Series. Greg Sachs, as you said, he knows how to win here at Daytona. Kim Crosby, one of the girls, and AJ Fike, a USAC midget star in today's field, running for Rookie of the Year. TJ Bell and Brack Maggart, part of the Andy Belmont stables here in the ARCA RE/MAX Series. Wayne Anderson, he's a two-time NASCAR Southeast champion. And Larry Hollenbeck. Jeff Kendall, another one of those NASCAR touring guys out of the Midwest Series. And Mark Gibson, he knows how to get the job done, a 4-time winner here in the ARCA RE/MAX Series. Andy Hillenberg, I think he's done well in one of your cars here, Kenny.
He won for us won this race for us several years ago, and also won the championship as a car owner. So AJ Fike can draw a lot of experience there.
Row 16, Jason Jarrett, want to talk about him? He qualified really poorly, Kenny.
They've been struggling getting that car up to speed, but he is an experienced driver and knows how to draft, and he will be able to draft his way up towards the front pretty easy.
And you know Billy Venturini will be making his way to the front too.
Well, I would say that Jarrett will be waiting for Venturini to come and then be latching on.
David Reagan, 18 years old, also in today's field. Darrell Basham, and rounding out the field, Todd Boucher, one of the regulars here, Dynamite Dude in the number 21 car. Look at some of our onboards. First, the number 19 car for Keith Mert. We expect him to come to the front of the field in that car in an interesting story, which Ray Dunlap will have a little bit later on. And then also, AJ Hendrickson in the number 17 car. I'm telling you, this kid is good. He's looked good in ARCA RE/MAX Series competition, coming back to run a part-time schedule this year. And then the number 33 car, the Menard car, for Paul Menard. And of course, we reminded you that he won the October Talladega race, a former Midwest Series runner.
He won the October race with the same situation that Billy Venturini's in. Had a little problem with the inspection after qualifying, went to the back, and came on through to win it. So it's something we could also see out of Billy here today. Both of them capable cars and should belong up front.
And here's the big man, the Advanced Auto Parts car for Frank Kimmel, the 5-time ARCA RE/MAX Series champion. He knows how to get the job done, but Kenny, he has struggled here at Daytona. His best finish of 3rd, but only 19 laps led. Can he get the job done?
Well, you know, they've been so good at concentrating on all the races that they haven't put all that much time and effort into just Daytona and Talladega, because they've still been pretty decent here the last several years, as you see, with 3 top 5s. But he can get the job done. They keep bringing that program up. And when we just take this as one race and Talladega is one, and then we look at the end of the year points, he's the man to beat.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the race analysis here on Speed Channel. 41 cars start this race, 80 laps, 200 miles, as we've mentioned, more than $300,000 of purse money. And here's something that's big. 42 to 48 laps. That is the pit window here, and those pit stops will be crucial.
Well, most definitely with an 80-lap race. You know, hopefully your yellow will fall right at the right time where you can make it in one stop.
Some of those not in the field today. Aaron Call, the 360 sprint car driver. Nevin George, a modified standout from the Northeast. and Deborah Renshaw. She actually qualified that car, but the whole story is quite a soap opera, and who better to tell it than our Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Bob. Deborah Renshaw walked into the garage on Tuesday with a big smile, a boyfriend, and a 13-race deal. But yesterday, she walked out with possibly none of those. Her frown came because she had a slower than expected car. Her deal went away because she complained a little too much about that car. And her boyfriend, Chad Blount, was picked up as the replacement driver. So the big question is, can two competitive race car drivers separate romance from work? Lindsay?
Thanks, Ray. You know, temperature here dropping, that also means track temperature is dropping too. Yesterday we used the pyrometer around 4 o'clock. We found the track temps were 100 degrees. Right now we've got our hand on another one. You can see it's about almost 82. Those drivers hoping that that makes them drive a little bit quicker because the track is a little bit tighter. Let's toss it over to Don.
Thanks, Lindsay. We've heard a lot about those young guns. One of those young guns is right here. AJ Fike from the USAC Midget Sprint and Silver Crown ranks, making his first ever stock car start here at Daytona. He's driving this year for two-time Daytona ARCA 200 winner and former ARCA champ Andy Hillenberg. In addition, AJ already announced he'll be running for Rookie of the Year honors in the ARCA RE/MAX Series. And I got to tell you, folks, he's off to a great start. In fact, he's out-qualified boss man Andy. He qualified 19th, where Hillenberg is back in 28th, gentlemen.
I think what's interesting too, AJ Fike carries the number that Andy Hillenberg won the championship with back in the mid-90s here in the ARCA RE/MAX Series. Chad Blount on pit road right now. He'll have to start at the back of the field, but what's going on here? That's what we got to wonder right now.
Well, we see the catch can man plugged in, but I don't believe that you can put fuel in until after you take the green flag. And I know in Nextel Cup you can't, but have to check on that a little bit later.
That'll be pretty interesting. I'm sure our excellent staff on pit road is all over that.
Yes, they can as far as the ARCA rules are go. It's okay.
How about that? Our assistant Kim Novak up here with the rule book
she's
helping us out a little bit. But a lot of guys can win this race, Kenny. Who, though, are the favorites in this race?
Well, I think you have to go with that front row with Bobby Gerhart, as good as his restrictor plate program has been in ARCA, and definitely Kyle Busch in the Hendrick Motorsports operation and what we've seen him run before. I think it'd be hard. Well, you got to throw Paul Menard in there. I mean, those three cars, I think, will be stout.
A dark horse, I think, in today's field, maybe Brent Sherman in that number 44 car. He's kind of stepped up the program this year. Brent's feeling pretty confident. He told me, hey, I'll see you down in Victory Lane. I said, hey, I'm up in the booth, but you'll see our people maybe down in Victory Lane a little later.
Well, Shane Meal, too. That CLR car has always run good, and Shane's got a lot of experience in this type of deal. One thing we're really going to want to watch, because we practiced about this time yesterday, is when you come off turn 4, as we might see if this comes around, we saw earlier from AJ's car, the sun through the sharp stretch into the tri-oval really plays with your vision. So that's going to be a key factor here.
And this sun will be setting during this race. We have a 2-hour race here, and that's Greg Sachs right there. Like we said, he's a former Daytona winner, and Greg Sachs is a great drafter here at Daytona. We're getting set for the green flag here. The Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200. Are you on your edge of your seat?
I am ready for this. I ran this race one time, and I don't think I'd ever been more scared in my life. It was first time at Daytona, and it's like, wow, is this place intimidating.
Here we go. The pace car has pulled off. Bobby Gerhart leading them to the green flag. Everybody hold on to your lug nuts. It's time to go ARCA racing.
One thing that Bobby Gerhart and Kyle Busch don't want to do real long is argue over who's going to lead. They want to get in line there.
Gerhart gets the edge, Kyle Busch on the outside, and Kyle Busch, one of those young whippersnappers who is not afraid of anything. Of course, the younger brother of Kurt Busch in the Nextel Cup Series. Look at Frank Kimmel there pulling on by.
Frank Kimmel was able to give Gerhart that push that he needed, but now it looks like Frank might be left hanging out.
How long will it take for these cars to come up to speed then?
Oh, at the end of lap 2, they'll probably be running. But then as the group closes in and gets closer together, they'll keep going faster and faster.
I think interesting already, you see coming off of turn 4 there, the car's bouncing around a little bit.
Woo! Definitely moving around, definitely got that sun in your eyes. So this is tight. Through that tri-oval, I think it's banked what, 18 degrees there or something like that, and cars will move around a lot there.
Wow, absolutely amazing. That onboard camera from Paul Menard's car right there, battling with Kyle Busch and Frank Kimmel. And woo, absolutely amazing how close these cars run. It looked like they were going to hit there for a while.
Well, you'll see tire marks up and down the doors of the top cars after this race. You know, hopefully they're just tire marks, but you know, this is somewhat of a contact sport, even at these places. Throughout the race, you're going to be able to check out the RE/MAX ticker on top of the screen to find out where your favorite ARCA RE/MAX Series driver is running. You see AJ Fike there in the 17th spot, but here's out the back of Frank Kimmel's car, and he's looking strong. I know it's early, but he's looking pretty strong. Oh, he's, you know, it's definitely early, but he is strong for sure. Quite the battle right behind him. Basically, Frank Kimmel and Bobby Gerhart have hooked up nose to tail, and he told Don Radebaugh that was his plan before the race started. Right. Well, you want to separate that the field and get in as small a group as possible in the front group. Now, there's still probably 20 cars there, but they want to start that down to just a half a dozen of them. But it'll take a while, especially when they're running side by side like that. Is this something we're going to see all day long in this ARCA race? The cars all together in a pack like this? Well, I think it'll start to thin out just a little bit. But yes, every year in the ARCA RE/MAX Series, we see the pile of cars getting bigger and bigger and bigger because the competitors, the teams are just getting better and better. More knowledge, better equipment, more experience in the big tracks, and they just all run closer and closer together. You can see Brent Sherman in that Serta number 44 there. We spoke about him a little while ago. One of the big things about him this year, they've stepped up their engine program, and he said, you know how I did it? I poured a lot of money into it. That usually does the trick in racing. Simplest way. Bobby Gerhart leads this one, but that man, Frank Kimmel, is right behind him. Paul Menard, Kyle Busch, and Cliff Boyer, some of the young guns here at Daytona. Hold on to your britches. It is getting wild here in the Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200 for the ARCA RE/MAX Series. Kenny, we were watching during the break. Holy moly, they're getting crazy out there. Well, yeah, it just doesn't look that bad when you're down in there in the car, but up here or sitting on the couch and watching them, it definitely looks a little intense. And check out this. We have a new leader, the number 87 Ditype.com car for Kyle Busch, and here's how he got the lead. Yeah, it really just shows how strong that car is because he didn't have someone right up behind him helping him, so that was just a good, clean pass. They really closed up the field really quickly there for at least a couple of laps. Well, whenever them front cars run side by side, everybody else gets a good clean air and they can just suck right up to them. So that's why them front guys do not want to stay side by side. For all you Norm Benning fans, he has pulled behind pit road, so Norm Benning possibly done for the day. There's Christy Passmore, and you pointed out during the break she was on pit road. Yeah, she came in pit road, and I don't know if they put left sides on or if they had a problem in the left front, but they were definitely down in the left front. Here's get a report from Lindsay here.
Just talked to the crew. What they tell us is she just came in to change all 4 tires. They thought that she was going to lose a wheel. They were worried that one of them had equalized on her, so they're going to see if this works out, and we'll keep tabs on it. Back to you guys.
Christy Passmore, that's a tough break for her. She's also going to run 5 Busch Series races for the Bob Shack team this year, and like we said, one of the rising stars. But back to the front, Kyle Busch still leads. A little bit single file now, Ken.
Yeah, well, and that's what they want to do. We see 6 cars there able to break away just a little bit from that next group that is running side by side, which really slows them down.
Your top 5 right now, the 87 of Kyle Busch, Paul Menard second, Clint Boyer in third, Bobby Gerhart, the pole sitter, fourth, and Ryan Hemphill in the 77 Ganassi Braun car. And take a look at Billy Venturini. He is now 20th after starting 35th because of that rules infraction. He told me after lap 6 he was going to be up to his original starting spot where he would have qualified in the 6th spot, but it's taking him some time.
Well, it's taking him a little time, and that's easier to say sometimes when you're really aggravated and stuff, but Billy knows he has a car that can get right back to where he should be, so he's just taking his time. This series is getting harder and harder. You can't just blast through there like you used to be able to.
Check out Shane Meal there in the number 75 CLR car, trying to make his way to the front, but Greg Sachs, now there's a man that knows how to put the pedal to the metal, especially here at Daytona.
Wow. Greg has always been fast wherever he's run. I remember when he won the Firecracker down here, I believe it was 85.
Yep.
We had blown up, and I watched him win it. That was before the restrictor plates, and they really ran fast then. So he knows how to drive around here.
I used to watch Greg Sachs on Long Island at Islip Speedway in the old 18X modified when I was a kid, and oh boy, tough trouble for Keith Mert already in the pits. He has one of our onboard cameras, and they've gone under the hood, so that's not a good sign.
Pretty hard to get the hood open on the car here on green flag conditions and have a good day.
Kyle Busch back to the front, leading Paul Menard. Is Paul Menard just okay with following him right now?
Right now, I guarantee you, Paul's okay with it. Andy Petrie's telling him just stay in line. Anything he would do now to pull out of line would just slow down the old effort. They're worried about decreasing the size of that group, so he's gonna stay in line for a little while.
Okay, here's something interesting. We just saw Bobby Gerhardt actually pull down on Ryan Hemphill. Why would he do that at this point in the race?
Well, because if Ryan got underneath him, that puts him too wide, and it just hurts the effort of everybody. But I tell you what, we're all out there and we're trying to race. When you got a chance to pass somebody, you want to go, but you see, it's hard to just stay in line.
Mike Langston in the 66, McClure in the 04. Wow, we got some crazy racing going on here, and we're going to have a lot more to come because we have over 3/4 of the race to go here for the ARCA RE/MAX Series at Daytona. Later on Speed Channel, as you watch AJ Hendrickson on pit road, Speed Weeks on Speed live at Daytona. The debut of Wendy Norris, one of our new reporters here on Speed Channel. John Roberts, Ken Squire, Steve Burns. They'll have the entire scoop leading up to the Bud Shootout. And that's going to be a dynamite show here on Speed. But trouble, Keith Mert, our onboard cameras are going down. Keith Mert behind the wall in that number 19 car. And also we saw AJ Hendrickson on pit road. What's going on with Keith Mert, Lindsay?
Okay, we don't know much. I just talked to Sammy Speaks. He says he thinks there is a mess in the motor, possibly some sort of spark plug. Okay, Don, we're gonna check in with you more. We'll give you guys more of an update later. Don?
Yeah, we got a mess in the motor down here in the 17 car of AJ Hendrickson as well. In fact, it's done blown up. This is really too bad. He had very, very high hopes for this race. Brand new crew chief, Mark Nelson. AJ, quite the fabricator himself, built this car from the ground up. He said he had 3,000 man hours in it. An Ernie Elliott motor that just blew up. AJ's done.
And you can see the disgust on the face of the A&D Auto Parts race car driver. AJ Hendrickson had high hopes for today.
You know, most of the time when you have problems with those spark plugs, it's because something inside broke and rattled around and it broke the spark plug. But I tell you what, you know, you run around here, even with the restrictor plates, you run around here flat out. You don't turn as many RPMs, but you turn 7,000 RPMs or so. You're never letting off the gas pedal. You're asking a tremendous amount out of those engines, and they don't all make it.
All right, this may be a stupid question, but does your foot ever get tired from putting it down to the board?
You really have to get the gas pedal in a comfortable situation, not have too much throttle spring on it and stuff, and you have to be comfortable when you're on the gas and not off the gas.
Let's get more from ARCA Don.
Alongside AJ Hendrickson, I know you had high hopes for this race. I'm hearing motor. What exactly happened?
Yeah, just something went wrong with the motor. We just had really bad luck lately, and apparently it just broke something.
Trouble on the track. What's going on?
Trouble for Kim Crosby in the 06. The Slidell Junior High School principal in the Golden Flake Chevrolet smacked the outside wall.
Yep, it looked definitely rear end problems, more on the right rear. Just have to see, hopefully, see how that happened. But
she's got one of our favorite sponsors, the Boudreaux's Butt Paste 06 here at Daytona, done for the day on Speed. Back here at Daytona for the ARCA RE/MAX Series leaders on pit road. Kyle Busch overshot his pit. Some trouble for him, 4 tires, and he is away. Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, Bobby Gerhardt just came in Lucas Oil Chevrolet, but he put right side tires on only. Andy Hillenberg a little further back here in the pit, got cockeyed coming in. Looks like a lot of these guys have gotten off pit road with just 2 tires.
We saw Paul Menard do that, just 2 tires, and be the first one out of the cars that pitted.
Advantages, disadvantages at this stage of the race, 2 tires versus 4.
At this stage of the race, I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference. Hoosier traditionally has brought a very good tire here. I think this thing's been run on left sides the whole race, so I don't think it's much of a problem.
Here's what happened to Kim Crosby.
Ooh, she was already down on the apron, so, you know, either some engine problems caused some problems getting in, forced her down there, or another car did, but she would not have entered down there, so don't really see what started it.
Done today for Kim Crosby, but she will be back next week to try to qualify for the Busch Series race. Don?
Well, indeed, a very short day for the junior high school principal out of Slidell, Louisiana, talking with her husband, Chris. You know what happened? Have you talked to her?
She just said there was some fluid coming out of the 35 car in front of her and just got loose and was not able to hold it. But she's okay. She's fine, and she just wanted everybody back home to know that she's okay.
Glad to hear it. Fluid's a very bad thing at Daytona International Speedway. Chris, make that Kim Crosby. She's A-okay.
And we'll also have to take a look at Wayne Anderson, the 35 that he mentioned. That's his car. Maybe some fluid coming out of that car. I'm sure the ARCA RE Series officials are looking at that right now, but that car is wasted.
Yes, it definitely needs a rear clip before it goes to Talladega. You know, through all this, though, and we're 19 laps down, we got Greg Sachs up in the lead at Daytona again.
Greg Sachs knows how to lead here at Daytona. We got a lot coming up this weekend here on Speed Channel. In fact, some of Kenny Schrader's favorite shows, Speed News, NASCAR Edition, 7 p.m. tomorrow, Sunday, and then also Speed News. We'll wrap up all that's cool in the world of motorsports, and following that, NASCAR Victory Lane. There is Paul Menard, but Greg Sachs, as Ken Schrader mentioned, out front here at Daytona, and I'm sure he's going to try to keep it there.
Curtains for Kyle Busch. They had a man go over the wall without a fire suit and helmet. It is a 1-lap infraction in ARCA RE Series competition, something you would not expect from the GMAC Nextel Cup team crewing the 87 car here today. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Don, up front, you see Greg Sachs' number 88, sponsored by George Foreman Grill. These guys are very happy about the way this race car has been performing, but they knew that they could not come in and pit that time and make it on 1 stop. They want to try to do this with 1 stop. You'll notice right behind them is Shane Meals' car. These guys have been communicating back and forth, and they said, we think Meals' car might be a little bit faster. So don't be surprised if you see the 88 pull over and let Meal go ahead. They believe those 2 cars might be able to draft away from the pack. Lindsay?
Thanks, Ray. Just talked to Bill Venturini, Billy's crew chief. They say number 25 came in, they topped off fuel, made a little bit of a chassis adjustment because it was still a little too tight, sent him back out. Now they're excited about their new track position. Back to you guys.
There's Billy Venturini and the Melling cylinder sleeves. Number 25 will have more from Daytona when we come back. It's like the old Whitesnake song. Here we go again. Green flag for the Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200 for the ARCA RE Series, and Greg Sachs is the man out front, but Shane Meal is on his tail.
Definitely Shane Meal is on his tail, but Kyle Busch is the 3rd car in line, and he wants his lap back, and I think his car is strong enough to get it back. He's got to be in front of that leader when that yellow comes out so he can get back into this race.
And that's all that racing luck that all the drivers want all the time. If he gets out front, he needs that.
He most definitely does.
Shane Meal returning to racing in the ARCA RE Series here at Daytona. Greg Sachs just in front, and there's a contrast of ages right there. Shane Meal, one of those young guys, and Greg Sachs, one of the seasoned veterans. Keith Mert back out on the racetrack. But here we go, the young and the restless. Let's see what everybody's doing. Shane Meal second. Menard, he's been up front, back to 14th, and Christy Passmore had some trouble. Ryan Hemphill, though, we saw him twice come down pit road and overshot his pit both times.
Right, well, that's just an experience deal. The reason Paul Menard's 14th is because I believe he's the first car that pitted. So he's got a whole tank of fuel, which could come into big play later if these guys don't catch that, catch another yellow within their fuel window.
What's up, X-Ray?
Bob, most people are aware that Shane Meal was suspended from NASCAR competition late last year. However, he came here to the ARCA race to say, look, guys, I can drive these race cars, everything's cool. And he has not only gotten his clearance from the ARCA RE/MAX Series, but also been reinstated to get a NASCAR license. He will compete in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here next Friday, driving the number 15 for Billy Ballou. Also believe he will be attempting to be in the Busch race. So Shane Meal has his NASCAR license back as well as his ARCA license.
Only one prior start for Shane Meal in the ARCA RE/MAX Series back in 2001 at Atlanta, led 14 laps and finished second to Kerry Earnhardt.
Well, I think he's gonna try to stay in line there. Busch gets his lap back. He wants to be second in line, but we'll just have to wait and see. But he's bringing a pretty good group with him there.
You know, we heard a pit report earlier that Greg Sachs might pull over and let Shane Meal go by, but Greg is really taking off.
Yeah, it looks like Greg's car is a little faster. Of course, he's also got Kyle Busch pushing him, which is helping him quite a bit. And then this other group's running side by side, so it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Wait a second, you're going almost 200 miles an hour here. How can you push somebody?
Well, I'll tell you what, in Bud shootout practice last night, they sure didn't seem to have no problem doing it. You can hit them down the straightaway, plus you just push the air and just pack the air in the car and give them a shove. But look at this.
Wow, for the lead, Shane Meal on the outside, Greg Sachs on the inside, and the car that's a lap down, Kyle Busch on the inside. Man, that's a battle.
Yes, it is. It's pretty stressful right there. Everyone's on a different agenda.
Brent Sherman also sticks his nose in the air in the Serta number 44. We got them all packed up together. Bobby Gerhart, the pole sitter, he's trapped in there.
But now we got Kyle Busch up in the front if that yellow comes out, and it'll be hard for him to get back around Kyle. He's going to have to kind of mess up and let them have too big a hole, and it's going to take a couple of them to get a good run at him to do it.
Right now, he's got to have his fingers crossed, his toes crossed. Well, he can't have his legs crossed, but
he's also got a full tank of fuel and 40-something laps to get that yellow flag.
Check out that Chad Blunt there in that silver number 64. We spoke about him earlier in the show. Of course, he replaced his girlfriend in that car in a soap opera type deal. You think it's going to be a good Valentine's Day for them?
Oh, I don't think I'd want. I don't think I'd be. Daytona's stressful enough without having those kind of problems, so I don't think I'd want to be in his shoes right now.
Frank Kimmel currently 8th on board with him. You can see Brent Sherman right there battling with him, and right now maybe Frank just playing it safe. What do you think?
Well, I think Frank's feeling pretty good that he's got a good car that'll stay up there in that lead group. I know Frank's running the high side. I think you get in a little bit less trouble here a lot of times if you stay up on that high side. So he's looking just to keep himself in a position that he can capitalize on something at the end. But he's got a good car here.
You can see that 00 car right there. That's Ed Kennedy, a former modified runner from the Northeast in the Shark Lounge. 00, and Mike Langston just behind him. Oh, there goes Kennedy.
Yep, you know, I think he's going to be okay here.
You see the roof flaps come up, and that probably helped him a little bit.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I was right when we went to this 00 car and you were talking. He had those left sides just really flirting with that yellow line. Well, that yellow line, you got to be careful down there. It plays heck with the car and loosened him right up.
So Ed Kennedy has some trouble here in the Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200. He will certainly get back out on the racetrack, but I'm sure things are a little bit puckered up for him right now after that spin.
Yeah. It'll be a big night at the Shark tonight.
And how about Kyle Busch? He gets his lap back.
Well, he's definitely back in the race where he needed to be.
Don't think we can say any more after that comment. Kyle Busch, a lucky dog here at Daytona. He will rejoin the field, and he is back in the running for the victory here at Daytona in the Ditech.com car. Kyle Busch also going to be a rookie contender in the Busch Series this year.
In the championship team car from last year.
Exactly, for Brian Vickers. Let's take a look at what happened to Ed Kennedy, and you can point out what you saw.
Well, as soon as we get to him there, the world was going along just fine. Right up in that lead group.
Here it is. That's the black and gold car.
Down there.
He just goes right around.
left sides were right down on that line, and it just got turned around on it. It happens easy. All that blacktop there made it where it was a harmless spin, which is definitely good.
Here's another look at it. If you're right behind, what are you thinking?
Well, right there, you're thinking, oh, he's gonna slide in, so I'm okay. But you know, for a minute, you think, oh boy, you know, there's not much you can do. You let off the gas a little bit. You don't jump on the brakes, otherwise you get run over from behind. But there's not a whole lot you can do.
And a third look at Ed Kennedy's spin coming off the third turn here, going into the tri-oval area. Luckily, he's A-okay in that 00, the Ralph Solomon car.
Now, what he has to be careful about here is you can see that left front tire is flat. He needs to make it back around because he's still on the lead lap. Make it back around, make it into the pits before that tire comes apart. And when it comes apart, it will rip the left front fender off that car, and then he's basically done for the day. I think he's got two flat front tires there.
You can see that fender a-flapping already. The green flag when we come back here at Daytona on Speed. Debris in turn 3, that's what we are being told is the cause for the caution right now. Greg Sachs there, he was your leader, but everybody has come down pit road and made some stops, including Greg Sachs, who did not stop on the first round of pit stops. Don?
Frank Kimmel changed right side tires only, no adjustments on the 46 car. On the 87, it was right side tires as well.
Kyle Busch, we thought he was not under power there for a while. That was the first report on Kyle Busch, but maybe an ignition box problem, maybe not. Maybe him just going slow around the racetrack to
yeah, once you get that lap back, you know, and then he knew he was in good shape, so he just had to run back around and get caught up with him. He had plenty of time. But one thing we saw too was Ed Kennedy that came in earlier did have 2 flat tires and only changed one and wound up ripping the right front fender off that thing.
Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bob, just trying to find out what everybody did on this pit stop. Looks like Shane Meals' CLR crew went with 4 tires down here. Also, Greg Sachs decided they wanted 4 tires for sure. Should be their only pit stop. Now, Ron Cox came in the Petro Express car. He did right side tires only. And also, we saw Bobby Gerhart did make another pit stop here to put on lefts, but unfortunately, he went past the line, so the crew had to push him back before they could start their service. But a bunch of guys here doing what we believe could be the very last round of pit stops.
What do you think? Will guys come in again?
Well, what do we see in that window? 42 to 48 laps. I know that over in the Nextel Cup side, we're only looking 35, 38 laps, but we got the smaller fuel cells. So I would think they would be okay from here.
Check this out. Jeff Kendall, in his first ARCA RE/MAX Series race here at Daytona, is your leader. Chuck Hires in the number 62 is second, but I'm sure that'll change when we come back, because we're going to go green again, and we'll be watching those guys come to the front. Speed Channel's coverage of the ARCA RE/MAX Series is brought to you by Gladiator Garage Works, by Whirlpool Corporation. Gladiator Garage Works, it's time to rethink the garage. And Monday night, it's the debut of Inside Now Nextel Cup Racing. Alan Bestwick joined by the guy that's sitting next to me, Kenny Schrader, as well as Johnny Benson, Michael Waltrip. It's going to be an awesome show. You excited for your first show of the year?
Hey, anytime I get to work with Mikey, I'm excited. He's my personal favorite.
Don Radeball, what do you got?
I got Lee Leslie, crew chief of the 44, Brent Sherman. You made 2 pit stops. Why?
Well, we had a lug nut get stuck in a socket, and we thought they were talking about going to green in 1 lap, so we didn't want to get stuck in here and lose a lap. That's why we only went with 2. After we let the car down and left, they decided they had a lot more debris to clean up, so we just made another one just to make sure that we got everything we needed done.
That's Lee Leslie. By the way, Lee is the brother of Ben Leslie, who's the crew chief for Ricky Rudd. He's also the brother of Tracy Leslie, the 1988 ARCA RE/MAX Series champion.
And Brent Sherman started 9th today, finished 13th here last year, and he's certainly not out of things just yet in that Hickory Farms number 44. The ARCA RE/MAX Series doing battle here at Daytona. We'll be back in a moment. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series returns to Speed Channel next Friday night on Speed, under the lights for the first time. Joining Rick Allen, Michael Waltrip will be up in the booth, and Phil Parsons, and our guy on pit road today, Ray Dunlap, will also be there. All the action from the World Center of Racing, Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed Channel, as it is all year long. Jeff Kendall finds himself out front here at Daytona after a very lengthy caution. Ed Kennedy spun. A bunch of debris on the racetrack after that. Lindsay, what do you got for us?
Okay. You know, what we're hearing here is we're in the 64 pit, and basically came in here. I'm just being told that they changed 2 tires, but apparently a jack had fallen or was dropped previously, and so the problem with that was that you can see now track position has been spared a little bit.
There's Chad Blunt trying to win this race. He competed full-time in the ARCA RE/MAX Series a couple years ago and was battling Frank Kimmel for that championship.
Got right down towards the end. Came up a little short.
A Rookie of the Year here in the ARCA RE/MAX Series. Going green once again. How long is Jeff Kendall going to stay out there?
We'll just have to see. You know, I don't... got Andy Hillenberg right behind him. Don't know how good Andy's car is today. But like I say, everybody's going to want to stay in line just for a little bit at the start here.
Let's take a look at the top 5. Brent Sherman coming down pit road, actually driving right through. He made a pit stop just a short time ago. But the top 5, Jeff Kendall, Andy Hillenberg, as Schrader just mentioned, Jason Jarrett in the Bennigan's number 67. He started way back there. Paul Menard has worked his way back up to 4th, and Frank Kimmel in the Pork, the other white meat car, is 5th.
Yeah, and we've got some good cars. Clint Boyer is right there, and Eric McClure is right there, so they're gonna be coming quick.
You know, I think a lot of these Cup teams are really looking at the ARCA RE/MAX Series to try to give their younger talent some experience, especially at places like Daytona here.
Well, the guys are in this series are getting so much more experience, and they're running so much better with the equipment they got that you know, they're really able to showcase their skills now in front of the Nextel Cup owners.
Somebody just rubbed the outside wall there. Can't quite find out who it is. Oh, that is some tough trouble for the number 26 of Brad Smith. Some big-time front fender trouble for him, the ARCA RE/MAX Series regular.
Yeah, you know, usually stuff just doesn't happen like that without you seeing it, but we did see a little bit of smoke, and we saw Brent Sherman come down pit road on the restart. So there might be more to that story there.
Take a look who is 3rd, Clint Boyer. That there is a Bobby Gerhart car with an RCR engine, and the RCR crew is actually crewing that car here today. The crew chief is Ricky Vyers. Ricky is a crew chief in the in the Busch Series for the RCR stables, and Clint Boyer, man, what a break for him. He was IMCA modified racing last year, and also super late model racing out there in the Midwest, and so now he's in.
But he was winning a lot on the dirt and the pavement. I-70 in Odessa, Missouri on the pavement, and Lakeside Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas on the dirt. And I raced against Clint and Ricky Vyers 2 weeks ago out of Phoenix, and they ran extremely strong. So, you know, he will be a force to be reckoned with this summer over in that Busch car at RCR.
You know, National Speed Sport News, I've read that for a long time. Read a lot about Clint Boyer, but it wasn't until I went to Lakeside last year and I met up with a guy whose nickname is Dirty Dan, and he told me all about Clint Boyer. He said he was the baddest race car driver in the land.
One thing we just see, if you look in that group, up to 8th place would be Kyle Busch from a lap down.
Wow. Jason Jarrett started 3rd on that restart, but he is already filing back. Jason has said, I just don't have a good car this weekend. I don't know why. It's been a real struggle, but I'm sure that team will get it fixed by the time we head to the next race.
Yeah, and I tell you what, our poor old snake-bit Daytona veteran Frank Kimmel is going to come around and lead the halfway lap. Or no, it'd be one more lap, but lead the halfway lap. for this ARCA Remax race. So here we are at Daytona, and Frank's adding to his not many laps led. So I think he's got a good car today.
He could be going for his first Daytona, 500, the ARCA Remax Series win here at Daytona. Right now, Kimmel out front, Boyer second, Eric McClure in the third spot, and of course that has a little connection to the Cup side as well.
Yeah, more than a little bit. That car's run out of the Morgan McClure stables and won a couple years ago. I believe it was at Talladega. Eric wasn't in it, but that car has won. They're obviously winners here, multi-time Daytona 500 champions, and won in the ARCA Series too.
Billy Venturini, we followed his progress all day long. You could see him there in that blue number 25, the Melling car. He is right in front of Kyle Busch, but he has progressed steadily to the front here and could be in contention at the end of this race.
He will be in contention like he knew he would be.
He's got an 02 Pontiac, and the 02 Pontiac here, maybe not as quick on single car runs as the rest of them, but it looks pretty good in the graph.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, the 02 Pontiac though has been pretty much a car of choice here. I think is what Mr. Bell help me here. Our pulsar Bobby Gerhardt was running for so long here.
Exactly, but they added a little bit of spoiler to the 02 Pontiacs, and I know that brigade has been pretty ticked off this weekend. They felt it was an unfair shake, but hey, it is what it is, and whoa, we got some great racing going on here. Paul Menard in there at the back, Bobby Gerhardt in the Lucas Oil 5, and Dan Shaver right there in the number 49, and his teammate in the Petro Express number 23, one of the ARCA regulars, Ron Cox.
Ron, runs good at all the tracks. Their program, especially in the Speedway, has really been upgraded over the last couple of years. Going back to that 02 Pontiac, one thing that ARCA does, along with NASCAR, is they will tweak rules like that when one make comes up with a little bit too much of advantage, and that's really a lot of that is because of expense. They'll keep everybody from going and cutting bodies off these cars and putting older Pontiac bodies on them, and just try to keep it an equal playing field, and it winds up everybody saving a little bit of money.
Now you got to wonder too, of course, Kyle is getting a little experience here on the big track, but is that helping them for their Cup racing here in the next week or so?
Well, I don't know how much it's helping him, but it's definitely helping Kyle for his run here when he gets in the Busch car next week.
Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Hey guys, you were talking about Clint Boyer there in that number 7 car. Well, guess what? That car is actually an original first generation Hendrick Motorsports car. That's where Gerhardt bought it from years ago. That car came out, went to Victory Lane here in 1999. It's called Old Dusty, and they really like that car. Gerhardt rented that to Richard Childress, but that's how funny this series is. A Richard Childress engine in an old Hendrick car.
And that's the car that he won with in 1999. You see Billy Venturini go below the yellow line, and that allows Kyle Busch to sneak up along the outside.
Yeah, it's we're just a little over halfway here. I don't know if it's time to be playing with that yellow line too much yet or not, but let's head for it. Everybody wants to race.
Busch sneaks past Clint Boyer now into the second spot, so that man is on a mission. I say man, he's a kid at 18 years old. There's Bobby Gerhardt, our pole sitter, and he calls that car, Ray Dunlap was talking about nicknames on cars. Well, that one is called Sweet Bee, and I said, Bobby, why Sweet Bee? He goes, if you look at the speed charts, it's always sweet. He's got a road course car. You know how people nickname cars?
Yeah.
It's called Elton John. You know why?
No.
It goes both ways.
Oh, that's... Okay.
Battle for the lead. Frank Kimmel and Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer right there in the number 7, and Billy Venturini just beyond that. Ryan Hemphill has snuck back into the top 5 in the number 77. A look out the back of Frank Kimmel. Now we rejoin the field. Top 5 are kind of breaking away a little bit.
Yeah, actually, got away a little bit. This ought to let that second group close back up a little bit.
Busch on the outside trying to get by the 5-time ARCA Remax Series champion. Does he have any help on that outside though? Billy Venturini trying to push him along, but 3 cars on the inside. Is 3 better than 2?
Well, it depends which 3 against which 2. I think that before it's done, Kyle will get this pass pulled off because Billy has been extremely good too.
There's Bush on the outside, neck and neck as they go around this 2.5-mile tri-oval on the high banks of Daytona.
That doesn't look that fast when, you know, one guy's running 190 and the other one's running 191, but wow, out there it's something else.
You were absolutely correct. Take a look. Those guys get side by side, the top 5, and just like you said, everybody has gathered back up, and now we have a big pack again. Oh, Dan Shaver, he collects Paul Menard, Ron Cox, Chad Blunt also involved there. Cars spinning all over the place. Christy Passmore also involved. Bobby Gerhardt, he sneaks through. Menard in the Monaco, number 33. Trouble for him, disappointment. Started 3rd, now he's done.
Andy Hillenberg.
Andy Hillenberg up to 2nd just before that car is gone, and so is Shaver's car, the number 49. Shaver always runs well here. We'll be back in a moment on Speed Channel. Live here at Daytona, you see the number 33 of Paul Menard. One of the cars caught up in, let's call it, the big one, because it's been the only one here in the Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200. Let's take a look.
Well, we see the 49 car, Dan Shaver, start to move up. You get up underneath those cars, those cars get loose, and then, right? He gets into Paul Menard, and this thing, everybody did a good job. You're going to get wrecked right there. We see some guys wiggle through, try to minimize damage as much as you can.
Check out this. Oh man, that car just snuck through there. Here's another angle of what we saw.
Let me tell you about this track, especially up here in 3 and 4. The very bottom's got quite a bit of grip. The top's got quite a bit of grip. The middle is no man's land. It is slick in the middle of this racetrack.
Here we
go again. Just plain old gets loose.
Wow. And that was a tough break for Ron Cox, running really well here at Daytona in that car. That's a Dan Shaver car, actually. So both the Shaver cars out here at Daytona.
Good. You know, a big wreck and a lot of damage could have been a lot worse right there. Some guys did some good heads-up driving just to try to minimize the wreck right there.
Ooh. Bobby Gerhardt just squeaks by, too. And, man, it's just holding on, saying a prayer at that point.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you can do.
Yuck, a cloud of white.
On Paul Menard's car, he was basically one of the first ones involved. Yep, just got clipped. And right in the door, nothing you can do. Now here's where you really worry. You're sliding across the track, and you're worried about getting hit in that left door. But Paul did good heads up and go ahead and get the stop before it hit that inside rail.
There's the car, but Paul did walk out of that car and walk to the ambulance, so that was a good sign right there. Ray Dunlap, what's up?
Well, Bobby Gerhardt is in here as they try to continue to make track bar adjustments and also a wedge adjustment. They wanted him to get going because I'm not sure why they were in such a hurry to go there. They were trying to make 2 different adjustments on the car and put right side tires on it. Gerhardt was saying he's really tight coming off of the corner, so they definitely wanted to do an air pressure adjustment and chassis. Now also Ron Cox is in here in the 23 Petro Express Pontiac right now as they try to get the fenders all pulled out for him, put a little tape patch on it, and they want to see if that rear is going to hold on. They want to make sure that the air doesn't get back there and get behind that bumper and pull it off. But it looks like on the front they have the fenders pulled away enough for him, so Cox will be able to get back into the race.
But the bad thing there is that car won't be running as good as it had just prior to that incident.
No, it won't, but we've already got some guys that are lapped down. We already eliminated some in this wreck. Ron's an ARCA regular running for season points. Makes a big difference right now. He's sitting in 28th. If he goes out there and carries on the rest of the day, wind up with the top 20.
There is Frank Kimmel, the 5-time ARCA RE/MAX Series champion, just kind of hanging out right now under caution, and it's got to be pretty boring going around this track under caution.
Well, sometimes it feels pretty good just to relax and take a couple leisurely breaths.
A Monday night here on Speed Channel, and all week long, join us for Trackside at Daytona. Steve Burns, Darrell Waltrip, Larry Mack, Jeff Hammond, and a star-studded guest. They will sit back, kick back, and relax and discuss the issues going on here at Daytona. And we will have more when we return after the big one here at Daytona. One of my favorite shows on Speed Channel, Wind Tunnel, 9 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's where Dave Despain gets to lay some smackdown on the world of motorsports and also get to hear from the fans out there when they call in and kind of test Dave a little bit. I know you're a big fan of that show, Schrader.
He has to be the most knowledgeable man I know as far as all forms of motorsports.
You know who's knowledgeable about the ARCA series? Our Don Radebaugh.
He knows it.
And here's another knowledgeable guy and very successful man, Rick Hendrick from Hendrick Motorsports. How about that star pupil? Came from a lap down, really keeping his head on, don't you think?
He did a good job. You know, when you have to come back and make up a lap here and work your way back through the traffic, it's takes some patience. He did a good job. So, you know, I hope we're in good shape here. He's an awful good racer here, so we'll see what we got.
And we'll keep a sharp eye on it. How about it, Lindsay?
All right, thanks, Ray. Take a look. I'm here with Paul Menard right now. Paul, how are you first off?
I'm fine. Don't really know what happened. The car got spun in front of me. I think it was a 49, but just a bunch of smoke and stuff, and just along for the ride.
Okay, what next?
Bunch of banging. Not sure what happened. I really don't know. Just a bunch of smoke, cars coming. Unfortunate for the Monaco Coach Corporation, though. We had a good car. I blew that last restart. Shouldn't have really been in the situation. I'm kind of mad at myself, but we'll be back next week for the Busch race.
All right, there you have it. Guys, back to you upstairs.
Got to mention a couple other things looking at the videotape, the replay of that incident. The 04 of Eric McClure and Mike Langston in the 66. They also rubbed fenders a little bit. And just as you pointed out, Christy Passmore went to down low to try to avoid that incident. Had a little damage to that car.
Yeah, a little bit left front damage, and had to come in and work on that, but she missed the wreck.
Well, every time cars are on the racetrack here at Speed Weeks, you can tune into Speed Channel for coverage, including Tuesday at noon and again at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll have live coverage of the NASCAR Nextel Cup cars. They practice for next Sunday's Daytona 500. That's Nextel Cup practice Tuesday at noon Eastern, live on Speed. We'll be watching you.
I hope to be out there. We will be out there.
Yes, you will. Brand new sponsor for you. Congratulations.
Oh, we're very excited. Schwann's Home Service be on the BAM Dodge for the next 3 years, and we just worry about going faster now.
That's a good-looking race car, too.
Well, I'm very partial to it.
This car has looked the same for the past couple years. The number 46 Advanced Auto Parts, Pork. Number 46 for Frank Kimmel. Ray, what's up on Kyle Busch?
Hey, Bob, I just wanted to kind of update their big picture here for that Ditech Chevrolet. Keep in mind that this really is the Hendrick test team. These guys brought a race car here that David Green drove the last couple of years on these big tracks. It was a number 60 in the Nextel Cup. But these guys came here for two reasons. Number one, they want to get Kyle some seat time as he prepares to chase after a Busch Grand National Championship. But also, they are testing brand new engine parts in this race car today. Randy Dorton told me that there's over 40 new parts in that engine, and if it performs well today here, you may see them over in the other garage in the next couple of weeks. Don?
Well, thanks, Ray. Always happy to check in with Bill Kimmel, brother of Frank and crew chief. How about a status report on the 46? It looks pretty good from this angle.
It's pretty good, but he's got a lot of fast company behind him. We hope the Advanced Auto Parts Sport car run good all week long, so we'll see what happens at the end, Don.
All right, he had that 87 car behind him in happy hour yesterday, and with that 87 car in the tow, Frank Kimmel put up the fastest lap in all of Speed Weeks at better than 185 miles per hour for the ARCA RE/MAX series.
Fast car, but so is that second place car for Kyle Busch. And, you know, Clint Boyer doing a pretty good job there as we get this race restarted once again, just kind of hanging out in the top 5.
Yeah, anytime you can just hang in the top 5, you know you're doing an excellent job.
Fourth is Billy Venturini. Fifth, Ryan Hemphill. Shane Meal just outside the top 5 in that CLR number 75. See Christy Passmore down low rejoining the field. She was on pit road on several occasions during that last caution. Lap number 53 of 80 as we go on board with Frank Kimmel.
Still getting up to speed. Like I said before, about 2 laps to get these cars up to their maximum speed here.
Kimmel has won just about everything in ARCA, had a dominating season last year. but he told me this is one he really wants bad. It's the crown jewel for the ARCA Series.
Oh, most definitely. You know, they start their year off at Daytona just like the Nextel Cup. It's their Super Bowl, just like it's ours. But it's just like the Earnhardt, the Earnhardt deal. Dale Sr., he won everything but this, and he will get it.
And we've been saying Clint Boyer's been pretty patient, but he's dancing around right now, and Billy Venturini takes advantage of it on the outside, but he's got no help.
He's got no help. You know, a lot of times you'll see someone jump up there and you think, ooh, I could help push them by. Then you think, no, they're out of line. Let me just capitalize on them being out of line.
Kyle Busch, you saw him try to go to the outside to help Billy Venturini, maybe power past Kimmel, but not gonna do it. In fact, Bowyer sneaks by on the inside.
That was a good pass. That was a good pass. Busch decided he needed to get back in line and just worry about that right now. Just for a little bit.
Oh, trouble, big time trouble coming off at turn 4. Cars everywhere. That's the #1 Verizon car for Andy Belmont, a longtime competitor here on the ARCA RE/MAX Series. And that car is destroyed. Ouch, that was a hard lick.
That was a hard hit, most definitely.
Several cars involved here, including the 62 for Chuck Hires. That car took a hard lick as well. TJ Bell in the 08, the old Bill Eversole car, last year's Rookie of the Year. He's also involved. There's TJ Bell.
Now we see 3 cars in that, and when we see the replay, I saw potential for a good dozen cars to be in that. And that's where everyone in this series has improved so much. It used to be when they saw smoke, they locked up the brakes. I mean, just from lack of experience, and everyone crashed. And now they just wait and wait and wait, and they drive through if at all possible. That was some good driving.
All right, let's take a look at the replay and see what happened. That's out front, just ahead of the wreck. You see the speedy dry getting kicked up or something right there.
Okay. Belmont's up in the wall already. Now we see everyone heading to pit road. Some of them head to the grass.
Oh.
The 62 took a hard hit.
Hires took a wicked lick on the outside wall.
He had to get left rear somewhere up here, or else this is him coming through the grass, turning back up onto the pavement, which he's just out of our view right now.
Wow.
Good
Is that
job.
Gibson?
Good job right there by Mark Gibson.
Wow.
Missing that accident. It was very close.
Mark Gibson in his 24th year of ARCA competition, and that experience paid off a little bit right there.
Most definitely.
Woo. Oh, that's good to see. Andy Belmont walks out of the car and climbs into the ambulance. That's always a good sight because he took a wicked lick. And there's Chuck Hires as well, driver of the 62 car. Good to see both of those guys up and walking coming out of those race cars.
When these things turn back to the right, like the 62 car did, you're kind of along for the ride then. Sometimes when they turn to the left, you can keep spinning to the left, but when they hook to the right, you're just going to hit that wall and hit it hard.
You can see high fives and pats on the back, some smiles down there because they're just happy to see their driver. But tough break for him here today. Tough break for Andy Belmont as well. That wrecked race car. Got a lot of fixing to do on that one. We'll be back here at Daytona in a moment on Speed. We got a lot of coverage from Speed Weeks here on Speed Channel. The Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200 for the ARCA RE/MAX Series. Part of the action live on Speed Channel today. Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Dillner. Once again, alongside of me is Ken Schrader. Lindsey Zarniak is on pit road alongside of Ray Dunlap and Don Radebaugh, who is always on the ARCA broadcast. Good to be with you here from Daytona. Action really getting kick-started with the ARCA RE/MAX Series. We got a lot to go. We got the Dash Series tomorrow on Speed Channel. We got the Butt Shootout coming tonight on TNT. And of course, all the big qualifying and speed news and everything throughout the weekend. Right now, under caution once again for another accident on pit road. On the racetrack. There's not many accidents on pit road. Involving Andy Belmont and Chuck Hires. Frank Kimmel is your man out front. The number 7 Clint Boyer is second. Kyle Busch third. Ryan Hemphill fourth. And Billy Venturini is fifth.
We have had 2 accidents right here, fairly close to one another. They were both of them were multi-car accidents, but both of them could have been substantially worse than they turned out being.
Some pretty awesome driving, actually. I see Ron Cox on pit road. And there is the number 75 of Shane Meal. Ray?
Well, Bob, I'm with his crew chief, Joey Cudmore. Joey, this is a little bit of an interesting story. You guys built this race car as a Ford, but it's not like that anymore, right?
We tested here in late December, and we weren't real happy with our test. So about 3 weeks ago, we cut it off and built a Chevrolet. And we really appreciate DEI for supplying the motors for us. They're running really good, and thank everybody at CLR for backing us.
Tell me about the pit stop situation. You guys came in, did 4 tires just one time, and you got enough gas to go.
Yeah, we're good all the way to the end.
Okay, Shane Meal with a good car full of gas, got 4 tires, and Joey Cudmore says an awful lot of work has happened in just 3 weeks when they transformed that car from a Ford to a Chevrolet.
You know, Schrader, we've seen these guys kind of run single file, double file, even 3 abreast at times, but we're getting down towards the end of the race. 57 laps complete here. When are things really going to get shaken up? Is it just at the end of the race or what?
I'd say when they throw that green and tell them to start again, it's going to shake up just a little bit. And then those last 10 laps is when things will get really complicated.
Frank Kimmel, he's the man on a mission, wants to win Daytona. And so do a lot of the Busch Series regulars. We're going to have NASCAR Busch Series practice live here at Daytona on Speed Channel Thursday at 9:30 a.m. One of the hot guys in this race, Kyle Busch, he'll be part of that practice session. And then again at 4 p.m. live here on Speed Channel, the NASCAR Busch Series. Pretty cool show coming up on Speed Channel this year is the NASCAR Busch Series 24/7. They're going to follow 3 guys around 24/7 and follow everything that they do away from the track and at the track.
I think everybody will find that quite interesting because, boy, you think those weekends are busy. Sometimes the weekends are the relaxing part because your schedule's laid out in front of you. You know what you got to do. During the weeks, well, the other stuff. I think Don's got some more stuff for us.
Indeed I do. In the pits of TJ Bell involved in that accident. Talked to Jeff McClure, the crew chief. They said they really didn't hurt the car. It's a little smudged up on the left front fender. They are going to take 4 tires and make a wedge adjustment, but they don't believe they hurt the car very bad. TJ Bell ran the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series last year. You may recall he's also a veteran of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the 24 Hours of Daytona, the 12 Hours of Sebring, and I guess today the 2 hours of ARCA RE. But anyway, TJ Bell's going to try to run the whole season with this Brad Kent Motorsports crew. 4 tires and air pressure adjustments, and they're trying to get him out of here. That's TJ Bell.
Sometimes that 2 hours of the ARCA RE Series at Daytona is even more grueling than the 24 hours of Daytona.
Oh, it really is, especially when it's only 80 laps in those 2 hours.
He is away. Cool looking flames on that 08 DefiantClothing.com car. A lot of other guys on pit road as well. Ed Kennedy in the Shark Lounge car. He was also on pit road. Kind of a lull in the action here, getting ready to go green once again. And I think, as you said, when we go green again, after a couple of long cautions, it should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, when they take the green, they're looking at 21 laps to go. So if you're not in that lead pack, you need to mosey up there and get in it if at all possible. And then you need to start positioning yourself for that last 10-lap deal.
You're pretty good with the math there.
Yeah, I can do it.
80 laps, I'm subtracting. I couldn't even figure it out. Anyway, we're going back green again here for the ARCA RE Series, the Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200. Green flag flies, and man, Kimmel got a great start.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want those great starts because it allows them other cars behind you to pack up, and when they come at you, they've actually got to run. So that's not always the best thing that can happen for you.
And you can see Clint Boyer just behind Frank Kimmel, hooking up with Kyle Busch right now, trying to move further to the front to catch that leader. Ryan Hemphill's the guy, that 4th car line there, the red number 77. He's got some ties to Ganassi, and that's a Braun Racing car. Actually, that's an old Ganassi Cup car, but Ryan Hemphill, a veteran of the late model ranks in the Pennsylvania area, a track champion at Motordrome Speedway. And he ran the ASA Series, some All-Pro action in the NASCAR deal, and also the Remax Challenge Series in the past few years. Whoa, Bobby Gerhart a little sideways, 3 abreast, Greg Zaks just in front.
Well, you know, I told you if you weren't right there in that group, you needed to hurry up and get up there. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Brent Sherman also involved in there in the number 44. Recently got married, actually just 2 weeks ago, had his honeymoon in Hawaii, and then came down to the Sunshine State. Back to the lead, battle Kyle Busch on the outside. He's got it. Ryan Hemphill trying to take over 3rd spot from Clint Boyer. But Busch just drove to the front, and he didn't look like he had much help.
No, but that car, I mean, we know how strong it is, has been. When he got his 1-lap penalty, he came back from the back through the field to the lead extremely quick. So he has been good.
There's Hemphill. His entire family is here, including 2 of his sisters. 3 abreast, possibly Shane Meal looking to the inside. Wow. It's not over yet. Clint Boyer fights back. Ryan Hemphill right there. Meal trying not to go. Wow. He pushes up.
Yep, I'll tell you what.
You sound pretty confident looking up here.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. it's just more. Oh, this is plenty.
Oh!
Yeah. Yeah, this could be big yet.
Okay, Boyer, his first race here at Daytona. Gerhart goes to the inside there, but Boyer, is he a little bit nervous now? Is that why we're seeing him dance all around?
No, actually, he's not nervous enough. Meal is extremely loose up underneath him.
Oh, man. Richard Childress, I'm sure, watching this race and just gritting his teeth and just praying.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Richard had another driver for years that was just like that.
We're talking about
Dale
Earnhardt. Yeah.
She keeps getting down. See, he keeps getting down next to Meal and keeps making him loose.
And if you look at right behind Meal is Bobby Gerhart in that number 5 car in the Lucas Oil car. And he comes off the corner and he's just dancing all over the place too.
Yeah. You see, the front of these cars are round, so they're a little different than the trucks that are basically square. And when you hit people with these, you don't hit them smooth. The trucks get by with a lot more beating and banging than these do. But I'll tell you what, this is what Frank Kimmel wants to look up in their mirror along with Busch and see these guys doing this.
Where are they? They're way out ahead.
Well, that's because these guys are side by side and losing a tremendous amount of ground besides putting themselves in terrible danger.
Yeah, Meal really is.
Yeah, it's
oh, look, Billy Venturini is in that pack too, so he is another one of the lucky ones thanks to this side-by-side racing that have broken off with Kimmel and Kyle Busch. Now the spotters and the teams for that 7 and the 75 car are a little bit more relaxed, being that they're not racing side-by-side anymore.
Well, I'd say the spotters for the 75. The rest of them still need to be stressed up there just a little bit.
Greg Zaks, he led earlier here. He is also involved in there in that red and yellow 7 number 88 car. Greg Zaks finished 7th in this race last year. Oh, you don't want to go away now because we've seen some awesome racing and there's more to come here on Speed. The 3 amigos out front, Kyle Busch, Frank Kimmel, Billy Venturini, they are all friends right now because together they have broken away from the back of the pack, or the middle of the pack, the big pack, so to speak. Guys, side by side, look at that advantage they have over this right here. Shane Meal leads that pack. He's in 4th spot. Clint Boyer in the 7 in the RCR engine. Bobby Gerhart car is just behind him. Bobby Gerhart just behind that. And man, that has been some close-quartered racing just there. Schrader, it's been good having you up here, but I think we're going to have to kick you out of the booth because you got to go to a driver's meeting.
I got to go to that driver's meeting. Starting 14th in the Bud Shootout. Don't want to start 19th, so we'll just see what happens there. But I tell you what, if I was in one of these cars right now, I think I'd have to go with Kyle Busch. I think he's sitting in the best position right now, but this battle behind those top 3 isn't quite over yet.
Well, thanks, Schrader, for being up here today. We'll have you up on the broadcast a bunch this year. Looking forward to working with you more. And you too, Lindsay. What's up?
All right, I'm here with Chuck Hires. Chuck, you took a vicious hit into the outside wall. How are you feeling first off?
I'm fine. It wasn't that bad.
Tell me what you remember. What happened?
I see somebody go up into the wall and coming across the field, and I tried to go low and got in the grass, and I was a passenger at that point.
All right, thank you. Back to you guys.
That was Chuck Hires involved in that big wreck. We still see some side-by-side racing going on. Brent Sherman in the Serta car, that's Chad Blunt. His story has been documented here today. Of course, driving the number 64 as a relief driver, so to speak, putting in a darn good effort right now. Brent Sherman 8th and Chad Blunt is in the 9th spot. Mike Langston in the 66 is just behind them in 10th. A good run for him here today, but out front, still, those three dudes right there, Kyle Busch, Frank Kimmel, the 5-time ARCA champ, and Billy Venturini. Remember, Billy started way back in the 35th spot after not getting by Tech. He had to go way back there. Oh, here we go. This 77 of Hemphill, Clint Boyer in between, and Bobby Gerhart squeezes his own car out of a spot. Gerhart, who has had trouble with the handling of that car all day long, started on the pole, has not been able to keep it up there. Sachs in the middle there. 10 laps to go. 10-lap shootout here at Daytona on the high banks. The leaders way out front, but this right here is the battle to watch. I got goosebumps looking at that. These guys got goosebumps too. Kyle Busch trying to win the big one here for the ARCA RE/MAX Series, but Frank Kimmel is right behind. Never finished higher than 3rd. He's in 2nd right now, and he really, whoa! Sachs is in the wall. Gets hit from behind. Sachs spinning down the backstretch. Eric McClure just scoots by. Wayne Anderson also involved, the 2-time NASCAR Southeast Series champion. The race to the line, Kyle Busch has got it. Frank Kimmel in 2nd. And Billy Venturini in 3rd. My mistake, no racing back to the line here in the ARCA RE/MAX Series, but that right there, no more racing for that car today. The 7 car for Greg Sachs. That's the state of Florida seafood car. He was hoping for a good run, 7th last year. He's done. Wayne Anderson has been running a couple of ARCA RE/MAX Series races from time to time over the past 2 seasons. Good looking car there, unsponsored. He's hoping to run about 5 or 6 more this year. Greg Sachs was hoping to come out of here with a good finish with enough money to run some more too. Ray, what's up?
Well, Bob, what was really kind of strange about that race car was it came originally from Robert Yates Racing, but Bobby Jones, the guy who owns that car, has decided that they really needed to have it to be a Dodge, so they made this thing a Dodge. I really don't know if you call it a Ford Intrepid or whether you call it a Dodge Taurus, but anyway, that thing was a Robert Yates car with a Dodge front on it, and they were really hoping to give a good job to George Foreman today, and the other sponsors they had on there, Shrimp from Florida, because these guys were hoping to try to attract enough sponsorship to run the entire season. It may still come true, but Greg Sachs certainly done for today's race.
Tough day, the boy from Long Island. Wayne Anderson, the boy from Florida, he'll race at New Smyrna Speedway tonight. In the super late models, let's take a look at what happened. Greg Sachs gets nudged by, I believe, the 44 of Brent Sherman. Tough to tell right there, but he definitely did get nudged behind in the draft there, and then Wayne Anderson, an innocent bystander, just gets caught up in it as well and kind of slaps the outside retaining wall. Here, we get a better look at it right here. Sachs on the inside, goes outside, trying to get around Clint Boyer and just cannot squeeze between Brent Sherman and Chad Blunt. Tough deal for both Greg Sachs, Wayne Anderson, and even Brent Sherman. Don't know if he has a little bit of damage to the front end of that car because he certainly got into the back of Sachs. One more look. Clint Boyer is the 7 car. There's Mike Langston in the 66, and you see it right there. Sachs just trying to slide up. Brent Sherman got into him. Just tough, close quarters racing here in the ARCA RE/MAX Series at Daytona. Todd Bowsher in the number 21 trying to pick up some spots there as well, right?
Well, Bob, the number 59 of Mark Gibson, the Williams Lumber car is in, and Mark basically said when he went through the backstretch down there, he picked up some debris, and he was afraid that he had a flat right front tire. So they said, come on in. Dennis Poldy, his crew chief, said, we got to change the rights and make sure if there was a flat tire there. If not, we'll do 4. The guys did signal that it was the right front tire, so Gibson will now have fresh right side tires as he rejoins this pack with just a few laps to go. We'll see if that's any kind of advantage for Mark in the number 59.
Gibson and the Williams brothers Lumber number 59 here at Daytona. That sponsor comes with him for another year. There's the man who's in second. Frank Kimmel going for the win. Back here at Daytona, the Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. A shootout. Probably about 6-lap shootout at the end of this race. And guys, we just got to remember that now everybody is going to be bunched up. Holy moly. Don Radebaugh?
Bill Kimmel, what's going on? Anything for the 87?
I don't think so right now. It's hard to tell. I mean, if 25, if Frank gets a good jump and Billy goes with him, then maybe we got something for him. But right now, we're just doing everything we can to hang on. But Bill Ford's done well all day long. The advanced car, port car's running good, really well. I mean, we're tickled to death. We just need to finish it up here today.
I'm glad you're so happy. Bill Venturini, crew chief for son Billy Venturini. What are you doing here?
What am I doing here?
Yeah, and in Bill Kimmel's pit.
Let's make a deal.
Tell us about it.
Well, we're going to see what happens.
Are you trying to push Frank to the front so he can win in tandem and blow by the 87? What's going on? Don't lie to me, Bill. Don't lie to me.
All right. Frank Kimmel's a friend of ours. He's an ARCA regular. Yeah, I'd love to push him. Kyle Busch is a friend of ours. He's also one of my tenants.
Oh, you're in a tough spot there, bud.
I'm not in a tough spot. I think if we have our options, we're going to go with Kimmel. I mean, that's what me and Bill were talking about. But the timing's got to be right. And I got to go because I called the greens.
Would you be satisfied with second?
Would I be satisfied with second? We didn't come here to run second.
10-4.
I have never seen Bill Venturini speechless before. And he certainly was a little bit there, maybe not trying to give Don Radebaugh all the information. But I guarantee you one thing, Billy Venturini will not settle for second. This is a young, energetic, rising superstar in the world of motorsports. And he's also got some big cojones. He likes to stick it in there and go for the win. 5 to go at the line. I guarantee you he'll push Kimmel by if he can, and on the last lap, all bets are off. I can't wait for the green flag to fly again. I'm sitting back in my chair up here. Wish Schrader was still with me because we would be having a ball up here. The ARCA RE/MAX Series always putting on a great show here at Daytona. The lights coming on at Daytona. Bud shootout practice. The Bud shootout, I should say, coming up a little bit later on here. Waiting for the green flag. Kyle Busch, remember, he was a lap down earlier in this race. He's only 18 years old, battling with the veteran right behind him of 40-plus years. Frank Kimmel, and then Billy Venturini. He's one of the young guys as well. Shane Neal, a young dude, as is Ryan Hemphill, who rounds out the top 5. 5 to go. Going through the gears. Ray Dunlap, you've seen a bunch of races here. They're always exciting at the finish. What are you thinking right now?
Well, Bob, I got to think about if I'm one of these guys that is planning on running the entire season. Keep in mind, part of this field is here. This is just one race of the season. A bunch of other guys like Kyle Busch are here to win no matter what. Shane Neal says he wants to win no matter what, but other guys got to think about points here a little bit. There are still 21 cars on the lead lap in this race right here, and if I'm Kimmel and I'm Venturini, I'm going to say to myself, if I get a shot for it, I'm going to go for it, but not at a sacrifice for points. Finishing second and third could be okay.
Getting a report out of possible smoke out of the number 87 Ditech.com car. Don't really see it right now, but Frank Kimmel maybe just staying in line, looking for that first advantage that he has to take Billy Venturini with him. But Venturini's got to worry about the guys behind him too, Ray. He's got Shane Meal and Ryan Hemphill right there, and both of those cars are awesome machines.
The other thing, Bob, is keep in mind, Steve Meal, Shane's dad, is his spotter up on the roof, and Steve's seen a lot of races here. He knows when to tell Shane it's the right time to go. They've been talking on the radio. He said, get your line, get a feel for it. I'll give you the cue when you need to try to make your move. Meal right now sitting back there in fourth, right behind Venturini. He's going to take a look to the inside, but keep in mind, the ARCA officials reminded these guys today, just like in Nextel Cup, you cannot go below that yellow line, so these guys are all conscious that they've got to use the right part of the racetrack when they're ready to make their move.
You cannot go below the yellow line, and pass is the key. They are awful close to it going down the backstretch. 3 laps to go. Busch, hey, I would block too, and that's what he's doing right now. Meal ready to attack, and look at this. Bobby Gerhardt in the number 5. He's closing in as well. Billy Venturini looks outside of Kimmel, but doesn't go just yet. Coming down to the line. 2 laps to go. Count them, 2. Kimmel trying to win his first ever Daytona race. Has never done it. Highest finish is 3rd. Wants it to add to his impressive resume. Can he do it? Can he get by that stout machine of the Hendrick organization with Kyle Busch, who's running his first Daytona race? How about that, in the lead in your first race at Daytona at 18 years old? Absolutely incredible. Here comes Venturini. He looks to the outside. There's Bill Venturini, the former ARCA RE/MAX Series champion himself, trying to coach his son to his first ever victory. Remember Shane Meal, a couple seasons ago at Atlanta, finished second to Kerry Earnhardt. There they go, the snake. Busch trying to break the draft. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go, the final lap, all bets are off. Who's gonna do it? Still single file, 6 cars at the front of the field. Busch has got to be looking in his rearview mirror, watching every move that Frank Kimmel makes. Here comes Venturini on the outside, no. Gerhardt looking, Venturini snakes, he goes outside, Shane Meal goes with him. He's gonna pull up at the 2nd spot side by side with the 5-time ARCA RE/MAX Series champion. But he's got no help. Nobody goes out there. Billy Venturini with no friends at all here at Daytona. And that allows Kyle Busch to come down to the start-finish line. Kyle Busch kicks him here at Daytona and wins the race. But trouble. Shane Meal and Hemphill get together. Gerhardt involved. You knew it was going to happen. Gerhardt, Blunt involved as well. Shane Meal there sliding on the infield. What a finish here at Daytona for the ARCA RE/MAX Series. Wow. Woo. Kyle Busch is your winner. Frank Kimmel is right there as well. But how about that? The 18-year-old, part of the Young and the Restless bunch, wins the big one here at Daytona for the ARCA boys and girls. We'll be back and we'll hear from him in a moment. Speed Channel's coverage of the ARCA RE/MAX Series is brought to you by RE/MAX. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. And by Gladiator Garage Works. Gladiator Garage Works, official garage of ARCA, is proud to announce that Kyle Busch is the gladiator of the race. Gladiator, it's time to rethink the garage. The sun sets on the ARCA RE/MAX Series race here at Daytona. That man, Kyle Busch, the winner. But look at this finish. Kyle Busch out front. Billy Venturini and Shane Meal bumping and banging right to the line. Ryan Hemphill, smacks into the 75. Wow, that was pretty tough right there. Tough break for Shane Meal. Hemphill involved. Billy Venturini is able to continue, but whoa, bonsai move there. You gotta go for it. You gotta go for the position, and that's what it was all about. Here we go, another replay of the finish. Venturini tried the outside of Kimmel, had no friends whatsoever to go along with him. Shane Meal had been loose all race long, gets a little loose right there. That allows Hemphill to sneak on the inside, but here he goes below the yellow line. As Schrader said, tough to go below the yellow line here. He just kind of sneaks up and hits the 75. Woo. Absolutely incredible finish here at Daytona for the Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200. Don?
Wow, Frank Kimmel, career best finish, second. Were you watching in your rear view mirror, hoping for the best up front?
I watched the rear view mirror all the way around. Got to thank Billy. He did a great job, and did a great job. Man, that car, 87 car was really strong. And
did you have anything for it?
No, this Advanced Auto Parts, we could catch up to him. It's a lot better than it ever has been, but I don't think we could ever get beside him unless they really start pushing. And you know, Billy had his handful with people behind him, and what a great job for this Advanced Auto Parts car.
A career best second. Are you happy, sad, satisfied? Where you at?
Won the ARCA race. You know, we didn't beat that Hendrick car, but disappointed. What a great, great weekend we had. This crew, this team, the port guys, everybody worked so hard and got us our best finish, and did all right.
That driver worked pretty hard too. That's Frank Kimmel in his 259th career start.
Oh boy, these guys have just got here. Rick Hendrick just said to me, man, I like that stat you used earlier today about starting second. Make that 10 times now here at Daytona. The winner has come from the second starting position. He didn't get the pole, but I don't think he cares right now. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Kyle Busch, a driver who now has 3 career victories in the ARCA RE/MAX Series. 3 victories now, but guess what, bud? You are in victory lane at Daytona. Tell me about that.
Oh, this is beyond anything amazing. I can't thank these guys enough. Mr. Hendrick here, he is my all-time supporter, and I got to thank him. But it's all about this car. These guys did an awesome job putting this thing back together from when David Green ran it last year in a Winston Cup Series. So it just shows you how much determination these guys all have. And I can't thank Ditech.com enough for giving me the opportunity to run here in Daytona. And everything else that we've been able to do has been just amazing. And to be here in Daytona Victory Lane, this is amazing. I came here as an 8-year-old just dreaming of being able to race here one day, and here we are, first time out, we can put it in victory lane. That's awesome.
Tell me about going a lap down, though. How nervous were you right then? Did you think, boy, it's going to be a long way to get back to the front?
Well, honestly, I told a couple of the guys over at the Hendrick Motorsports side that this is the 8 car of the ARCA series, so that's what I made it happen, and we were able to come back through there, and it shows you how much Hendrick Motorsports never gives up.
How do you celebrate this win?
A big party with all these guys right here behind me. They need to come out here and celebrate just like I can.
All right, Kyle Busch, his 3rd career victory, but guys, this is certainly the biggest one ever.
That's right, and he gets a kiss from his girlfriend down there, and he is also the winner of the Gladiator pit stop of the race. There is the number 87 car and his pit stop. Gladiator Garage Works. It's time to rethink the garage. Congratulations to Kyle Busch on that and the victory, his 3rd in ARCA RE/MAX Series competition. Let's take a look at the ARCA RE/MAX Series results from the Advanced Discount Auto Parts 200. See the top 5 right there. Ryan Hemphill, we are told, has been called to the ARCA RE/MAX Series trailer. Bobby Gerhardt, 6th. Chad Blunt in 7th. Mike Langston with a great run today in 9th. And Jeff Kendall, the former the RE/MAX Challenge Series runner up from the upper Midwest, rounds out the top 10. Regular Brent Sherman in 11th. Todd Boucher, also a regular. Wow, he started 41st, came all the way up to 12th. He started in the same spot last year and finished 17th. AJ Fike, he's going for Rookie of the Year. An 18th place finish for him here today. TJ Bell, we showed you what happened with him earlier, still coming back to finish 20th. Mark Gibson, late pit stop for him, but he is not able to come back to the field like he wants, 21st. Ron Cox got involved in that incident. He still had a pretty decent finish considering that. Lindsay?
Billy Venturini, great story. You started at 35th position, pulled it off to 4th. How you feeling?
I feel great. It was just an awesome performance by the team today. Car was great. Had a run on the last lap. Thought we even had a shot to try to get up for the win. I might have lost 3rd. I don't know. We'll look at the photo finish, but I need to thank Melling and JJ Baker, my whole crew, my dad. Everyone was great.
All right, Billy, congratulations. Back to you guys.
Lots of action here today at Daytona on Speed Channel. It's the ARCA RE/MAX Series. Congratulations to Kyle Busch. A wild finish. We got lots more coverage on Speed Channel. We'll see you next time on Speed.